Example 3.25 has a couple of close things to pay attention to. It asks us the mass of lead, and that symbol means in micrograms, in a 300, notice the dot after that, that indicates that that number has three significant figures, 300 milliliter glass of water at a concentration of 15.0 ppb, or parts per billion. Okay. So the first thing we need to do, right, is if we're working in a ppm or a ppb calculation, our units need to match. We're asked about a mass of lead, so I don't like that we're given 300 milliliters of water. Okay. We're going to convert that to grams, which you probably don't even need to see this calculation, but I will show it anyway. Right? 1 milliliter is equal to 1 gram. Everybody knows the density of water, right? 1 gram per milliliter. So that is going to be now equal to 300 grams of water. Okay. Now it's just a simple ppb calculation, and these are not difficult. Think about what ppb means. Okay, so it's 15.0 ppb, parts per billion. So that means, right, it is part, just like a percentage is part over whole times 100, ppb is part over whole times a billion. Okay. So what is my part in the situation? That's the mass of lead. Okay. So I will set up a little proportion here. All right. 15 ppb is equal to my grams of lead, right? What symbol for lead is pb, over my grams of water. And then I made this line way too big. Oh, I accidentally erased my whole thing. Let's bring it back. Okay. So line's too big. I'll just add in everything else over here. Okay. Times a billion, which is 1 times 10 to the 9th, right? Or 1 with 9 zeros after it, whatever you prefer. Now let's plug everything in. Okay, that we got 15 is equal to, let's call our grams of lead, we'll just call it X. We're solving for X, okay, multiplied by 1 times 10 to the 9th. Okay. And how many grams of H2O do I have? That's what we solved for before. That is 300. Okay. So I'm first going to multiply both sides by 300 to get that out of my denominator. So that's going to give me 4,500 is equal to X, which I'm solving for, multiplied by 1 times 10 to the 9th. Okay. So the next thing I'm doing is dividing both sides by a billion, 1 times 10 to the 9th. Okay. So I plug into my calculator, right? 4,500 divided by 1 times 10 to the 9th. Okay. And it's going to give me just X on the other side. And what that tells me, reads in my calculator, is 4.5 times 10 raised to the -6 is equal to my X that I was solving for. But notice what we called X. That was equal to grams of lead. All right, that was what we called our X up here. We called it grams of lead. And the question asks us for micrograms. Okay? So I have to take that number, okay, 4.5 times 10 to the -6 grams of lead. And you have to know your metric conversions for every chapter. You never know when they're going to pop up. Okay. So, right, what is a microgram? Right, 1 microgram is equal, conveniently in this case, to 1 times 10 to the -6 grams. So that cancels out, makes the math nice and easy. Grams is gone, grams is gone. And our final answer for example 4.25, right, will be 4.50 micrograms of lead with the appropriate number of sig figs.